Welcome everyone again to the Learning to Birth webinar series, where we interview some of the world's most inspiring and interesting thought leaders on birth and pregnancy. And today we have a very special person with us, Talise Xavier, author of Home is Where the Birth Is. Welcome, Talise.
Hi, thank you. Thank you.
So great you're here. Everyone, Talise has 6 babies and they're all born at home. Tremendous, tremendous achievement and a great inspiration. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the background to your story, Talise?
Yes, well, I was fortunate. I wasn't born myself in the hospital, at home. My mom had a cesarean because I was breech. But later on, she realized that she didn't necessarily have to have a cesarean. You know, they kind of talked, the baby's breech. So she, was talked into doing that. But after that, my mom, over the years, she told me, and my father, they both said, well, people have babies all over the world at home all the time. They've been doing it since the beginning of time, and they're still doing it now, and the moms are fine, and the babies are fine. So when the mom is healthy, it's like, why would you need to go to the hospital? The hospital is for if you are injured or if, there's an emergency. But giving birth is not either one of those items if, everything is going smoothly. And so it was just, for me, it was kind of a no-brainer. It was just like, well, I'm going to give birth at home. Like there wasn't even another option for me. And I was fortunate also that my husband was on the same page. He had done research and was like, it seems better for us to have our child at home. And we were both like, sounds good. So we did. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, all of your births were a little bit different. Do you want to tell us about them?
They all were different. Yes, my first one I had a midwife and doula, and I had done a little research about home birth. So I was like, I wanted to be peaceful and relaxing, but I never factored in especially in the States, all of the indoctrination in all the movies and the talking that birth is going to be painful and it's very dramatic and, you're rushing in the hospital, your water break. I never thought that had an impact on me because I was just like, I'm going to home birth, like I'm not paying attention to any of that. But it had an impact on me. And my first birth was very like that, dramatic. And I was, cussing and yelling and it wasn't how I wanted it to be, but I'm not a quitter. So I said, well, my next birth, I had a midwife and a doula, and I was lucky that I had talked to her about my first birth, and she was like, it sounds like you just need to heal from that. And so I was very proactive in healing from that in terms of, it's not my fault, and it's not necessarily a bad experience, but I just wanted something better. And different techniques, and I did more research and more reading and more studying and talking to more people. So that was my son. Then with the twins, I was like, well, I don't know. It seems to me, yes, doulas and midwives are very different, but it seems to me that I kind of got the hang of this. So maybe I can just try a doula this time. And I was like, also, they're a little cheaper. So then a midwife. So I was like, well, let's just try a doula. And I didn't know I was having twins. And in fact, my doula, me and her became really close. We became friends, and she has like 6 children, and she had one at home by herself. So I was like, okay, we're connected. We got, on the same wavelength about a lot of stuff. And in that birth, I used hypnobirthing, which I love because it basically, for those who don't know what it is, it allows you to put yourself in an extremely relaxed state. And I like to say like it's a bubble. So you put yourself in this bubble, you zip up your little bubble, and you allow what comes in, what goes out. It's your territory, it's your space. And so I had at this point, completely healed from the first birth. And I was able to have be in control of that birth. So when the baby was coming, I was able to just, breathe deep and just, stay calm and breathe the baby out. But as I was doing that, the doula came back in and she was like, wait a minute, I see the baby's behind. Just hold on. she was like, we're gonna go way slower than how you're doing. So that was the first twin. She was breeching. She came out tiny first, and then I was waiting on the placenta to come out. And my first two births, they came right out. So I'm like, well, what's the holdup? And at this point, it had been an hour of me still trying to push out the placenta. So my husband finally came to the back, and he's like, well, what's going on? Like, what's the holdup? Like, what's the problem? And the doula, she was like, well, why don't you lift her up and, let her squat down? And she told me later on, she thought it was another baby in there at that point. And once he squatted me down, it was a leg coming out. And I look down, I see a leg, and then I see two placenta sacs, and then a baby. So that was mind blowing. that was very mind blowing. I look over at my husband, and he was just looking at me, and it was mind blowing. But after we got over that, a couple years later, I was like, I got pregnant again, and then I was like, you know what? I had read about unassisted births and where we live, and I was trying to find a midwife or a doula, anybody, but I didn't really connect with anyone. And so I said, well, maybe we could try to do it ourselves. I said, I've done plenty of research. You've done plenty of research. I was still friends with the doula, and she was like, yeah, call me if you need anything. And we said we're going to do an assisted. And this time my children were in the room during most of the labor until the end. They was like, I ran out. And then, and in fact, I can't remember. I think my husband maybe like stepped out, like right when she was coming out, and then came right back in. But I had to be the one to lift out the water, which I never did before. So I was like, oh my God. He was like, you got to get out the water. And I was like, so I had to lift her up. And it was really empowering that we did that ourselves. And, we took back the reins of our birth. And so with our last daughter, we decided, it was the same situation. I didn't really connect with anybody. And so I said, well, we did it before. I'm healthy. You're knowledgeable. You know how to cut the cord. Let's try it again. And all of these were water births except my son. The water birth was set up, but I just never made it back into the pool. And the second twin, we didn't know she was coming out. So it was no need for me to be in the water. But everybody else in the last one was in the water too. And it was just me and him. And the children luckily were asleep this time, and it was just candles, and I pushed around, and then that was it. Those are my birth stories in a nutshell.
Now you call yourself the home birth queen. Now we know why. That is why. That's great. I love after you've home births, breech twins, like I don't know what's left after that. There's nothing left, is there?
Yes.
What would you say if there's a birthing parent out there who's contemplating, maybe they've got some family pressure, like, oh, maybe I should go to hospital for my first birth. Because there's doctors there just in case there's an emergency, so I'm safe. Or whatever's going through their mind, there's a lot of things that go through your mind when you're first pregnant. What would you say out there in terms of how to consider their choices?
Well, I would say a lot of times people in general are afraid to do things because they just don't know about it. So a lot of people are afraid of home birth because they don't really know about it. So it's like, well, what would I do if the baby came out? Or what would I do if the baby's breech? Or what would I do? How do I handle the pressure or the pain or the contractions? I like to say waves. How do I handle those things? And so if you're going into it uneducated, then of course it will definitely be frightening. But if I like to tell people to do a birth plan. So that's basically, sitting down. Once you find out you're pregnant, sit down and say, how would I like this pregnancy and this birth to be? What do you envision for yourself? Then from there, you can make a blueprint and say, well, I want someone who's competent there to be able to handle any situation pretty much that can come up. Because there are midwives who can handle those situations. And in fact, most doctors have never even seen a natural progression of a real birth. People come to the hospital, okay, you on the clock because we got somebody else about to be in this room, you know, let's have this baby. Oh, it's taking too long, C-section, boom. But there's a lot of midwives who have the experience, you know, to be there for the hours or however long it may take, you know, for the baby to come out. So it's finding someone who makes you feel comfortable. Because some people are like, you know, I'm comfortable just me or myself. Like I've seen videos of the women just by themselves, just like, I'm a warrior woman, I'm having this baby, you know. And some people might want a midwife, or like I call, and I hope no doulas are offended, but I call doulas like your girlfriend, like the one who's she's not, you know, she's just there as a support, you know, like what do you need, what do you want, rub your shoulders, give you something to drink, you know. Of course, the doula does more than that, but you know, like, do you want a girlfriend kind of like there? Do you want your spouse there? Do you want your mother who gets on your nerves? Maybe you don't. So, you know, you have to, you know, think about things like that. And then there's, like I mentioned, hypnobirthing, but you also have orgasmic birth, where women are able to achieve orgasm as the baby is coming out. So you might, you know, it's really about arming yourself with the tools. And we're lucky now, like I'm talking to you, you're in Australia, I'm in America. So the people with information are at our fingertips. So it's not really an excuse these days to be like, I don't know, and to just be sitting well with that. It's no, well, learn, you know, read, talk to people. And I would say if you do want to do a home birth, look for positive people who want to do that. Don't, you know, because there is negative information out there. You know, find positive information and and just plan it all the way out. And I think if you plan it out and then to say why you want to do it, that'll make you firm in being able to say, well, no, I'm not going to go to the hospital. Or, and I would even go so far as to say, don't even discuss it with certain people. Because just like when you're pregnant, you don't want to watch scary movies or do certain things that could be harmful to the baby. You're pregnant then too. So protect your mind. So if you know, anytime you talk to Susie about birth, she's always saying something negative about home birth, or, oh, you know, it's going to hurt. Don't talk to her, you know? So it's just finding your reason and then educating yourself about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Surround yourself with positive people.
Yes.
Create those visualizations and have faith in yourself, as you say.
Right.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
I see memes that say, you know, as you're birthing, there are millions of women around the world who are birthing the same time as you. So you are not alone.
That's right. That's right. Now, you actually have become a very vocal and positive advocate for home birth, and you've written a book. Do you want to tell us the story of how you became, you know, the author of the book and also an advocate?
Yes, I do. Over the years, as I've had these home births, I've encountered a lot of positive, but I've encountered a lot of questions and some negativity, but more so a lot of questions. And I'm like, well, if the people that I'm encountering are having questions, maybe it's more, you know, women that are having questions besides the women I'm just encountering. And so one of my pregnancies, I had one of my students, I was a teacher at the time. She asked me, no, I told her I was going to have a home birth. And she said, oh, well, that's going to be painful. She was 7. And she was like telling me like something is a fact, that your birth is going to be painful. And I was like, no, it's not. And so now I'm arguing with a 7-year-old. And that always stuck in my mind, like, man, that's really sad that she's like, because she's going to have a painful home birth unless her mind is changed along the way. And so I just was like, it was the combination of those two. I wanted to be able to inspire women with my own stories and on a broad scale, because I wrote my book one time, but I could just keep sharing it. You know what I'm saying? I've met someone who said they want to buy some, you know, and share them with other women. So it was that aspect that I could reach more women. And also because I just wanted to re-normalize home birth. It's become it's become something that is unusual to have home births when it's not. really the hospital is fairly recent, and it is unusual. And so it just kind of happened. I just started writing, and then next thing I know, I had a whole book, and I was like, well, wow, I can't believe I wrote a book. And I'm happy though, and now it gives me a platform to be able to share with other people that it's not like an alien notion or something that, you got to have this much or this or something to do it. It's like your baby, if you're healthy, it's gonna come out regardless. So you might as well, be comfortable and safe if you can.
Absolutely. That's really wonderful. And we'll talk about it later, but everyone, Talise does have a really fabulous Facebook group that you can join and get really great inspiration about, home birthing. And we were just talking actually before we started recording about this wonderful picture Talise just shared of this little girl in a birth pool catching her mama's baby. So she would have been about 7. Hey,
right.
She's got a totally different home birth.
yes, she is. And I love the quote. Change the way you birth, because then you're changing the world. Each way that I believe that how your child comes into the world, that affects them. It's not like, your body is disconnected. Your body is like a computer. Your brain is a computer. So every single thing that happens to you that affects you. So imagine, how you feel if you were to wake up in the morning, or your sleep, and then somebody busts open the windows and the sun hits you in the face, like, oh goodness, and you're a grown up. But imagine you've been in your mom's womb and feeling the love and the protection, and next thing you know, boom, it's lights, it's cold, people are manhandling you, wiping you down real rough, and then you're wrapped up and you're still not with your mother. So I just feel that it's an important thing that we need to get back to help heal people as around the world.
Absolutely agree. And that's why this whole summit has come together, and 40, 50 people have come together pretty much with that same message, that same motivation. Yeah, it's about peace, about humanity, and it's about helping to change the world one baby at a time.
Yes.
Woo! Now you've had 6 babies and 6 babies at home, including a set of twins. Yes. Now that's a lot of work. Tell us about your take about, breastfeeding and the postpartum.
Oh, that's another. I love talking about visualization with birth, and I love talking about postpartum care, because I don't know how long you all get in Australia, but here in America, the women get 6 weeks. Yo, that's what I'm so sad. And I'm laughing, but it's sad because it's like I took 9 months to make a human being. This is not like a project, or I built a house or made a meal. I made a human being. My goodness, shouldn't I get at least some time to, relax and get myself together and re-heal myself? So it just fires me up to talk about postpartum care, because it is a need. It's not a want. It's not something you should try to see about doing. It is a need that women get help after they have their baby. If you don't have family, if you don't have friends, save up some money while you're pregnant so you can get a housekeeper or a nanny or an old lady you meet at the store. She looks really sweet, like, ma'am, you want to help me with this baby? It's almost imperative to a woman's mental care. Her mental care, if the baby's father is there, his mental care. With my daughter, I remember, because I've always babysat. And so I was like, oh, I'm prepared to have a baby. When she comes, I know I'm going to nurse her and it's all going to be great. But when my husband left for work that day and she started crying, hormones and everything kicked in, and I was just boo-hooing, and I was like, I want to go to my mom's house. So luckily we were able to stay there for a few weeks, but it helps take the stress off the mother. So the mother, after she has a baby, all she should be focusing on is feeding the baby and resting and healing up. That's it. That is all. She shouldn't be lifting anything, worried about food, all of that. So to tie into that, I would say things you can do to prepare for that are making freezing food, because like here we have what what's called a meal plan. It's an app, it's a meal plan where basically you can get your friends, family to sign up to bring meals or to do chores. Please, when you go visit your pregnant friends, do some chores. Empty a trash can, wash the dishes, help with some chores around the house, because she's tired, the baby wearing her out, he's tired, everybody's tired. So don't just bring a meal and hold the baby and peace be out. Hold the baby so maybe she can take a bath, a shower, go step outside and get some fresh air or something. So yeah, I would also say to the mothers, while you're pregnant, you can make meals and freeze them, because you may not like what somebody brings over as a meal, or your children may be picky. They're like, I don't want that. Well, you know what your child eats, so it's in the freezer. Boom, you just stick it in the oven. And then to tie into the nursing is so beneficial, and a lot of times people like to just touch on how it's beneficial to the baby. Well, the baby gets the nutrients and the antibodies, and it's good for their brain, and it helps them for life and strengthens their jaw muscles, and it's a wonderful bonding to the mom. But also it's very beneficial for the mother. It's very beneficial for the mother. It helps with postpartum depression. So it helps basically be able to check those hormones. They're just not all over the place. Sorry about those arms. But,
so good.
Yeah,
it's like, the baby, the little reflex, the babies go, ah, like that. We still do it.
Why did they pop up like that? But, so it helps with the mother losing weight, the baby weight that she's gained. It also helps her uterus contract back into place. It also helps women, boost their immune system to fight against cancers and other diseases and stuff like that. So it's just beneficial all around. So I say, if you can do it, if you're having trouble, you look for YouTube videos or books. If those don't work, I think it's worth the money to ask a lactation specialist to help you if those avenues don't work. But if all else fails, you tried everything, don't beat yourself up. Pump, because those minerals are still in that breast milk. So you might not be getting every single thing, but they will still be getting the minerals and nutrients they need that your breast milk has for that particular baby, and formula does not have. Formula has not been able to recreate breast milk. It hasn't been able to do it. So it's like, that's what you have them for, I think.
Well, yes, and what's really good to know, and I only learnt this as a lactating mum. Here I am grabbing my boobie. Is that it's like I think lactating, grab the boobie. Is that your milk adapts to your baby?
To your
changes.
Baby. Yes, isn't that cool?
It changes. Formula doesn't change. Formula comes in a packet. Whereas somehow your baby and your boobie, they're talking together, they're having a little convo, and the baby is like, I need more fat today, or I need some antibodies today for this bug that's around, and it's like this conversation, different fat levels, different, all the different things that the baby needs. It changes for the baby. It's incredible.
Yes, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Really awesome. So I just encourage mothers to, don't give up and try as hard as you can for as long as you can, because I know I was nursing my twins and they started teething at the same time. I had been nursing them like a year, and they had started teething at the same time. And I remember one day I was looking down my nipples, and I like to say they were raggedy because the skin was coming off. And I was just crying. I was like, but I want to keep nursing them. And my husband was like, look, they aren't eating now. You have nursed a year. You have done like wonderfully. Like, do not beat yourself up. It's okay to, wean them. And it took me a little bit. I did get over it, but I was, I felt a little bad, but I did my best, because it's like the nursing is not going to last forever. There's no 20-year-old still nursing on their mother. So it's just, sometimes it may be like, oh my goodness. Like, I was getting ready for this lecture and this interview, and my daughter, the 1-year-old, I keep trying to put her down and she keeps like nursing. So I have my shirt up. I'm trying to do the stuff while I'm nursing. I'm like, oh my goodness, just move. But it's like, this will not last forever, and it's the best thing for her.
Yeah. Sometimes the last one does tend to get fed a little bit longer anyway, you know. At least that was my experience. I was like, I'll just feed her a little bit longer.
And unfortunately, this one, out of all my pregnancies, this last one, I just couldn't eat anything. It's like I would have a taste for something, and then when I eat it, as I'm eating it, it tastes like cardboard. It was crazy, this last one. And she's my only picky child. Like, all my other children eat their fruits and vegetables, like they love them. She doesn't like to eat anything. And so I'm like, well, I definitely have to keep nursing you because you need to eat.
Yeah. It's hard to comprehend like the struggles a parent with a picky child goes through until you have one.
Until you have one. Because I used to see parents like their child is picky, and I'm like, that baby will eat if they get hungry enough. And I'm like, oh my goodness, those poor parents. Those poor mothers.
Exactly. And it's anyway, that's a different conversation, but oh my God, yeah. Until you have one, you go, wow, you had no idea. But yeah, bless them. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your approaches to relieving the pressure of those waves during childbirth?
Yes, yeah. I do. We are lucky that there are so many tools and contraptions, I guess you could call them now. We have birthing balls, which are good. I use that one with a few of mine, while you're I usually use it in the early stages. With my last one, I used almost up to the end, but just, rolling around and moving back and forth. It kind of takes off. It's not as good as water when you're in the birth pool, but it kind of alleviates the pressure of your legs where you're having to, you're sitting down. It just kind of makes you feel like, oh, okay, I'm just going with the flow of things. So I love the birthing ball. I did mention hypnobirthing, which is awesome. Using affirmations and taking time and when you have children already, it's difficult. I like to try to go outside and hide in the car. But taking that time to just, quiet yourself and mentally prepare yourself for what is to come, because it all starts in your mind. So mentally preparing yourself for that. Also, changing your language. So a lot of times we say, oh, the pain that's coming. It's like, no, because then you're clenched up, and you can't, the baby is going to come out painfully when you're like this. But when you're relaxed and, you've opened up, then it opens everything else up as well. So that was talking about, oh goodness, that's my original thought. That was talking about, language. Oh yeah, so pain. So, and then I like to use pressure instead of it's like your body's, instead of that, think about waves. So think about the water going out away from the beach. That's when the wave is gone. And then when it's coming back to the beach, you're like, okay, we hop on, ride this wave back. So it's mental also about the language that you use. You also have getting a doula who knows about pressure points, because with one of my pregnancy births, I had, she was a masseuse, but I remember her squeezing like the I don't know what she was squeezing. It was something, around the back or the hip area. And it just like completely took all the pressure and the pain and the pressure off my back. And I was just like, wow, that's amazing. So having someone there who knows different places to squeeze or rub or whatever like that. A rope. I've seen a lot of women use that lately, like from the ceiling or some cloth or material. That is real. If I do have another one, I definitely want to. I definitely want to try the rope or some cloth, because it's really just allowing, gravity to do its work and just get that baby out. Showers. So like if you are taking a shower, or if you have, the detachable hose, allow, somebody to do that. Water is good for that. You have, certain smells are good, like lavender is relaxing, so that's good for your environment, just having around in your environment. Um, and then it's just different, different positions. So like when you're in the hospital, you can't necessarily move how you want, but at your house, you can move any kind of way. You can put a leg up, sit down, just allowing yourself to move through. And that is a good thing, to keep moving. Because once you stop moving, it's this, you got to stay open and just if you dance, if you put on some music and dance, that's a good one. Just keep moving and going with the flow and listen to your inner self. Say, okay, this feels good. Let me get on all fours and just rock. I did that with most of them, on all fours, and just was rocking back and forth and up and down. So yeah, they've got this thing called the cube. There's a lot of things out there now. Like, I'm sure it's something being invented right now that's good for home births. But yeah, just there's a lot of things out there. Yeah.
There are. And yeah, visualization. Talk to us about visualization if you want to. Yeah.
Yes. So basically, that is just my thing with my life, period. Because if you think about it and you believe it and you can feel it, then you can do it. So and of course we know, we've made plans. Everybody's made a plan and it didn't actually go to plan. And sometimes the plan detoured a little, but got us to maybe even a better plan or a better end result than what we actually wanted. We went to something even better. But I think it's important to attempt to make a plan and to visualize how you want your birth to be. And I don't say this just like I'm pregnant, I want to have a nice, cool birth, be in. No, this is something, and I do this with everything in my life. I did this with my book before it came out. I wrote about it every day. Like, my book is finished. I love the cover. I love, this and the third. So I did the same thing with my birth. I'm so happy and thankful. And I like to tell people to write in the now, like it's already happening. Like, I am so happy and thankful my baby came out smoothly. I'm so happy and thankful, the people who I wanted were there. I'm so happy, I was able to be in control of myself and I didn't let the baby control me. Well, don't add that part, but just so you know what I mean. I was able to be in control of what was going on with my body. So yeah, just seeing it in your head, taking the time to put yourself, close your eyes, and if you've never had a birth, it's kind of difficult to do this, but you can still pretend and pretend how you would want the baby to come out. Even as far as, and some people will be like, oh, that's silly, but sit yourself, pretend you're in your pool and sit there and say, I feel the baby coming out. Taking the time to kind of act it out how you want it to go, taking the time to write down how you want it to go. And what I also love is affirmations. So there are a lot of videos now on YouTube, and I'm going to be putting out one soon. But birth affirmations, yes, birth affirmations. And I've noticed a lot of women now, when they decorate their birth rooms, I'll see them have them on the wall. But you don't have to wait to the birth. You can have them posted up, throughout the pregnancy. So it just becomes second nature. It's just like, boom, I know I'm going to be relaxed because I've said it for 9 months, So it's just kind of drilling. It's like when you're driving sometimes and you get to your destination and you're like, how did I even get here? Because you're so used to doing it. It just becomes second nature to you. Of course, birth is different, but it is just programming your subconscious to be like, okay, we got this, we can do it, and it can be smooth and wonderful and awesome.
Beautiful. I mean, when you think about it, the distance the baby has to come out is really only it's not very big, is it? I mean, we put so much drama and meaning around it, but it's actually a tiny journey, and it's all about us really and how much we can open to that journey.
Yes, it is. It is.
Now, this is actually a little bit of a serious question. And this is a little bit serious because we've had a lot of fun up to now. you're in the States, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that in the States, women of color, at least in the hospital system, are like 4 or 5 more times likely to suffer mortality when they give birth. Is that something that inspires you in terms of the advocating work that you do, and how you want to promote home birth? Like, what's your take on that?
It definitely is an inspiring thing for me because have you heard of the Tuskegee experiment?
No.
Okay, it was an experiment done back in the day where in the hospitals, Black men were given syphilis. They weren't told they were being given syphilis, but they were, because they were trying to test to see also what will happen when these, and they all did eventually die, but it was an experiment on human Black people. But that's not the first one, and that's not the only one. We've been, as Black people, especially during slavery, we were experimented on because it's like, oh, they're not really humans. It don't matter. They can take the pain or whatever. But the thing is, a lot of people seem to think that has kind of changed. And in my opinion, a lot of people's opinion, it hasn't. It's just become more covert, excuse me. And as simultaneously as that is happening, anybody who has a white coat on, whether it's a doctor, a dentist, eye person, I forget the word, excuse me, but they're seen as the authority. So if the doctor says it, it is the truth. Even if you're sitting here telling your doctor, well, I don't think so, the doctor says, no, it's not that, then it's not that. And I think it allows people to not be accountable for themselves and their bodies, because no one knows your body more than you. So I think with women, a lot of times they're not able to vocalize, well, I think something's wrong. Like I heard about Serena Williams. She was telling the doctor, I think something's wrong. And at first the doctor was like, no, you're okay. And she luckily listened to her instinct, and it was something wrong. So I just feel that Black women should really explore the option of home birth, because it what I love about home birth is it puts you in control. It's your home. You feel safe. You're not looking at, no one's sick around you. Like when you're sitting in an emergency room, people can be coming in with, gunshots or all kind of manner of things. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't even need to be in that kind of environment. That, in my opinion, like I don't like going to hospitals to visit people or for any matter, because I just don't like the whole entity of it. And also, it's a big business over here. It is a huge business. That's why the rates of cesarean sections is going through the roof, because they're like, oh, well, we charge more for that. So, if you're taking too long, let's just, something wrong, you need a C-section, So it's just, it definitely made me say, man, women are having, and I don't want to keep putting this into the ground, but women are having birth all over the world. Right now, a woman just had a baby and she wasn't in the hospital and she's fine and her baby is fine. Hospitals are a new phenomenon. A new dangerous phenomenon. Unfortunately, they could be run differently. They could be run by people who are holistically really trying to heal people, but that's not what's going on. They say, well, I come in with a symptom. Well, my stomach hurts. Okay, well, I'm going to give you some pills that will stop that stomach ache, but they're going to cause a headache. So then you can come back and say, oh, well, now my headache's okay. Well, here's something else. Slowly but surely breaking down your body so that they can get more money out of you. So it definitely is a very concerning thing for me. And whenever I see those articles, it's just like, well, just have them at home. Like, just think about, there is other options. It isn't like you can either do a hospital or your baby's not going to come out. The baby's going to come out. So just explore and see about other options out there that might be safer for you and your children. There's so many horror stories about what's happened to mothers and children. People say, don't vaccinate my child, have signed a paper, the child still gets vaccinated, or, I want my baby to be here with me, and then the baby's taken somewhere else. It's just, or my baby got switched, just a long list of problems with and I'm not saying to say that it can be better. It could, but it's not right now. So while it's damaged, really, I think especially Black women should consider having births at home. or at least in birthing centers where those women are of the same mindset, where we want you to have a home birth for whatever reason you don't want to be in your house, and I can understand that. But we're midwives and we're doulas, and we're about, you know, what you want. You're in charge of this birth, not us. A midwife and doula is not in charge. It's you and your body and how you're feeling. And that's a good question.
That's absolutely true. And it's the journey of all women. All women, wherever we come from in the world and whatever culture we're part of right now, is taking back that responsibility for ourselves.
Yes. Yes.
On all levels of our lives. And birth is probably the frontier. And in the Western world, you know, America, Australia, you know, we think, oh, we've come so far. But at the same time, birth almost seems more backward than in some of the other traditional cultures where women have a lot more autonomy over their births. You know?
Yes, exactly. I agree 1,000.
Yeah.
1,000%. And I feel I love the quote where they said, "Empowered women empower women." So, you know, I love what you're doing. You know, you're not just saying, "I know home birth is good," and keeping it to yourself. And it is a lot of responsibility, but the work you and I are doing is pretty much priceless, because we're like Wonder Women. You and I, we're saving the world by helping women, you know that this is the best thing for you and your baby. So yeah.
I want to know, where is my Wonder Woman outfit and where is our Marvel movie? Come on!
About home birth, we need a movie. We need a movie. Yes, I'm gonna think on that. I'm gonna attract a home birth movie. Watch. Someone's gonna. Who knows?
Maybe a comedy series on Netflix would get more traction nowadays. All right.
It might, because they've got a couple of shows out now about women and babies. And in fact, there's one, oh my goodness, I cannot think of it. It actually takes place in Australia. It's about a woman who's a midwife, but she works in a hospital. But they've got a lot of movies out, shows now about women dealing with having new babies. I think one is called Let It Down or something like that, where they're dealing, it's a mom's group, and they're, talking about the struggles they're going through, being new moms. But yeah.
Okay, I got two things to say, and that is, sometimes Netflix writers get paid $100 million. I'm not kidding, $100 million. So this is like, if you're out there and thinking you need to rise women up, like, that's a good way.
Oh my goodness, are you serious?
I'm serious. There was a lady recently who wrote a series for Netflix. I think she was a woman of color as well, and she got $100 million. Google it. I forget what series it is.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm ready today. That's a cute mug.
All right, and the other thing is, I don't know, since we're talking Netflix, ladies, if you haven't seen Ali Wong's comedy shows on Netflix, you have to. You've seen them.
Yes, I've seen her when she's pregnant in that leopard print outfit. So funny. She's so hilarious.
and then the sequel. Have you watched the sequel when she's pregnant again?
No, I haven't seen her pregnant again.
It is wild. All those things that you want to tell mothers about pregnancy and the postpartum, I just don't know how, because they get triggered. She says them all. It's
really?
like 2 hours of total, no one told me about that kind of stuff. And it was almost like the inspiration for this summit. I was like, oh my God, you're right. No one tells you that stuff. Let's do it.
I'm going to watch that today too. I
forget what it's called. But you'll recognize it by the leopard print. I forget what it's called, but it's Ali Wong in leopard print, so you'll find it.
Oh yeah.
I'm pregnant again. Oh my God, it's been so good talking to Talise. Do you want to tell us about how we can follow you, join your community, buy your book?
Yes. Okay. So my book, Home is Where the Birth Is, the stories of my 6 home births and how you can do it too, is on Amazon. It's only $14.95. And I wrote it, it's very easy to read. It's not complex because I wanted to make it simple for anybody to be able to pick it up. Children, teenagers, mothers, women of all reading ability, because it's just something easy and I wanted it to be easily accessible. Also, you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram, Talise Homebirth Queen. And I also have a page on home birth, Butterfly Bellies, Natural Birth. Butterfly Bellies, Natural Birth. So yeah, those are, and you can email me, TaliseHomebirthQueen@gmail.com. And it's just Talise, Talise, HomebirthQueen spelled out. And I'm always on my phone. I try to be and answer people as soon as they have questions. So, if you have a question, feel free to ask me. I'm ready to help. That's what I'm here. I'm here to help however ways I can.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. Well, you're the queen of home birth, and I must be the princess because the cup I've got today is little Miss Princess. I'm the princess.
That's so cool. I love that one.
It's my daughter's cup. I had my family here for the weekend. There's only clean cup left. I was like, right, I'm using that. So thank you for joining us, Talise. Before we go, oh, you're welcome. Before you go, like, what's a good, so like, what is like, where can a woman who's wanting to home birth, like, what is some really deep, where can she find the deepest inspiration for her to get her through that, that first experience of birthing and birthing at home?
I think you can either go 2 ways. Some people are motivated through negativity or bad experiences. And if you are the kind of person who you need to hear what's wrong with hospitals, then look up what is wrong with the problems or bad experiences or bad stories about hospital births. If you need that as ammunition to help you be like, oh, I don't want to do that at all, then look those up. Because it's a lot of horror stories out there and they're not uncommon at all. Now, you don't need the negative, then really think about what you would want for yourself if you were a baby. This is not a stranger's child you're having. This is your personal child. And as mothers, once the child is out, we definitely try to do our best. We'll work 2 jobs or not get any sleep because the child's sick or whatever. We'll do anything we have to do to make sure our child is healthy and happy, and to use that energy and put it into what manner do I want my child to come into this world? Because we're careful, we're protective when we're pregnant. So how does that little period when they come out, oh, that's not anything. No, that's just as important. That's just as important as well for you and your child. So, really consider what kind of, if you were that baby, if you could go back, how would you want to come out into the world?
That's so true. If we do a little bit of work finding out about our own birth and how we came here, and we understand a lot more about ourselves and how we behave and our triggers, and yeah, we can really want to give something different to our children.
And in fact, my mom to this day, because I was breached, so she said, see, because you was breached, that's why you're stubborn now. She was like, you want to do anything. So yeah, that might be some truth to that.
Watch out with those twins of yours then, hey.
I am seeing some things already.
Thank you everyone for joining us for the Learning to Birth series again. We've had Talise Xavier here, author of Home is Where the Birth Is, and I hope you've had a lot of fun like we have.
Yes,
and you can You can follow Learning to Birth at Learn to Birth on Instagram, Facebook. Come join our group. And thank you so much for being with us here today. Bye-bye.
Yes, my cheeks hurt. I had a great time.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.